What's up guys, Marty teambeige here, and today I'm here with my boy. Look at that clean mat. Tell me, sir, who are you and what'd you do?
I'm Xander Holser, and I got first place at the South Park Regional in Pennsylvania.
Let's fucking go.
Hey, you know.
What'd you play?
I ended up playing Fiendsmith Yubel. I think it was the right choice going to the event, assuming, 5 of their decks took that same slot, all of which were Fiendsmith Yubel. The other, I guess it was 4 others, with the 3 others being teambeige, Rescue Ace, and Snake Eye Shenanigans.
Nice. And your record was?
That was 8-0 defeated, undefeated.
Very nice, very nice. Any shoutouts?
Millions, bro. So I want to shout out Kieran. I want to shout out teambeige in general. I want to shout out all 8 of my opponents that I face. And then most importantly, I want to shout out Dream Wizards for cultivating this community that I'm proud to be a part of.
Let's fucking go. Let's get right into it.
So for engine requirements and main deck stuff, I'm doing 3 Samsara as your main starter, 3 Spirit of Yubel, 2 regular Yubel, 1 Terror Incarnate, and 2 Gruesome Grade Squirmer.
Why the 2 Yubel?
So a lot of times, if you're going for a Varudras play, you lock your 1 Yubel underneath your Varudras. So if you use your Phantom and you pop the Spirit from the deck, you're kind of just sitting there, and you don't have any way of like insulating your other guys against battle in most cases. Also, 2 Yubel comes up when you're comboing, because sometimes you want to keep a Yubel on board, do all your shenanigans, and then Gruesome Grave, bring back the Spirit, and then overlay for Varudras that way. It is unfortunate that there's another brick in the deck, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it hurts drawing 2. But I think the ceiling provided by having 2 is much higher than just having 1.
Okay. Very nice.
So next up, I want to talk about the Yubel adjacent spells, which are 3 Nightmare Throne. We gotta flex the Qs here.
Yes, sir.
And then I'm gonna play 2 Nightmare Pain on top of that. Now, I guess a Terraforming too while we're here. So these are just the bread and butter. I chose not to play, Eternal Favorite or any of the other goofy spells. I think Mature Chronicle is just not worth it. You get it too late across your combo. Nightmare Throne, it's like Union Kanger basically. The deck with and without Throne is like night and day. It's just 2 completely different beasts. One being, a tier 2, very, very solid deck that can do some unfair things. And then the other one being a tier 0 deck that can do anything you want. 2 Pain, I think, is a necessity. If this gets ogred or cycloned, you sometimes just lose on the spot. So sometimes people, like a lot of deck lists online, honestly, will play 1 Pain, and I just simply don't understand it. I'm going to keep it frank with you. And then Terraforming, you want to search the best card in the deck.
Very nice.
Next up, supplemental stuff. So 3 Dark Beckoning Beast and 1 Opening the Spirit Gates. Again, cards are absolutely insane. You can search this off the Nightmare Throne, which is even better, because sometimes you already have everything and you just want more. This card was very smart and heads up to hit to 1 way back when they did. And even with it at 1, it still feels amazing. And I did think about playing the Chaos Summoning Beast, but I didn't want to introduce more decks, especially since I'm already playing the second Yubel. So, but there are definitely times where it hurts, and I want to play the second Phantom Beast.
Sure.
Then I'm playing Mr. Smith and his friends.
Mr. Smith.
Simple 5-card package, nothing too crazy. He is the guy, he does everything on his own and more. A lot of times, like this deck, this can just dip into everything. If you have this, you have the entire deck and then some. Lurie is not too bad to draw. Track is a little unfortunate, but like you could still play with it. The only downside with this entire package is if you open this guy, sometimes Joel cooks you. But I mean, at that point, that's a non-factor, and you're probably gonna get folded anyways.
Makes sense.
And then, last but not least, for the actual Fiend adjacent stuff, simply a Shavara and a Chamber.
Yeah.
I opted to play Chamber because I wanted Dark Ruler Installation. It adds another layer of interaction that they can't really do anything about. And Talents is a real card. You want to try and avoid that at all times. So.
Sounds good.
As for hand traps, we're doing 3 Ash, 3 Infinite Impermanence, and 3 Droll and Lockbird in the main. This is Noah's favorite card, and I wholeheartedly agree with him. This card is broken. It won me a bunch of matchups. The Snake Eye Fire King player I played against, or actually, I'm sorry, I played a Tier Limit player round 2, and he goes, actually, Race Off, search Fenrir, at Resolution Droll, and he looks at his hands like, that might be a problem. Continue playing anyways, and it ended up being a problem. So I think Droll isn't crazy right now, and Hoban and I ended up playing Patrick Hoban in the last round, and we were talking about it afterwards, and he was like, how do you feel about Droll in this format? And I said, I feel like it's pretty good, it feels pretty strong. He says, I ended up playing Nib for the event, but I almost immediately regretted that, because every time he activated Nib, it felt like it put him in a worse spot than it started at.
Yeah.
And he does bring up a very good point. I do think I agree with him on that. So,
Yeah.
as for non-engine pseudo board breakers or just installation pieces, just thrillers, which are 2 talents and 1 call by.
Very nice.
Pretty self-explanatory for the most part. Talents, most of the time, I'm either snatch stealing or peeping. I think there was one time I drew 2 because I was just like, maybe I'll find something, and I found something. So never punished, but yeah, I love talents. Cards is so good, especially in the mirror. Sometimes like you just look at your opponent's cards and you say, I want that. It's a really cool card you got there. In the last round, or in game 1 versus Hoban, I talent stole his Phantom, and he was like, yeah, that's pretty good, and he didn't have a way to check it.
Very nice. Do you feel like 12 non-engine was enough?
I thought it was perfectly fine. I'm honestly, every time I open non-engine, I'm like, man, if only this was more engine. I just want more engine. Most of the time, the engine on its own can push through almost anything, unless it's like Shadow Imprisoning Mirror or like Kawaki Mirror Draco, like silly stuff that you need other things to supplement it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you're good.
Okay, nice. How many cards in main?
40 flat.
All right. Ooh, very nice.
Yeah. So as for the extra, 2 Phantom of Yubel. Pretty self-explanatory. Again, card is absolutely insane. It reads Monster Negate. It's a free body. You can do this crazy thing where you set up this guy, you set up your whole board, your opponent plays a little bit, they end up breaking your board, but they can't kill you. And you start off your turn taking 2 0/0 fiends, throwing them back in the deck, and just slapping this on the board, and then just scoop up their cards. I love Phantom of Yubel. This card is just not fair, not balanced. The only time it's bad is if they imperm it and then walk over it, which is fine, because then they use their battle phase, and you can deduce from there how good it is.
Did you want a third at all?
I'd play 4 if I could. I really would. Like, I'd play 5 even. Let's keep going. But, there's only 15 slots in the extra deck, and something has to make a concession. I think I'm okay with dropping the 3rd Phantom.
Okay. Makes sense.
I think there was only one time this weekend where I actually wanted a 3rd one anyways. Next up, I'm actually going to talk about the Fiendsmith extra deck stuff. So, it's going to be 1 Moon, 1 Requiem, 1 Fiendsmith Sequence, and Aerial Eater. As you can see, Necroquip is missing, and for the longest time, I was not playing Necroquip. There was 2 times today where I got cooked because I was not playing Necroquip. One, I was playing against a Snake Eye player, and I opened up 3 hand traps, a Floodgate, and Just Engraver. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. He Molcharmies me. I'm sorry, I actually opened Lurie, not even Engraver. He Molcharied me, and I ashed. And I go Engraver effects, search tract effects, Lurie for Requiem for Engraver, and looked at my board, and then set an Impermanent pass, because I had no way to extend past that point. Versus if I'm playing Necroquip, I can equip the Link 1, send to the grave, summon the guy, Engraver, shuffle back to Lurie, bring back Engraver, and then I can make Sequence, Aerial Leader, and pop off from there. There's also other applications of Necroquip, like you can get draw ones on your first turn to try and get an Upstart Goblin or refresh your hand. But for the most part, I did not miss it, except for the one game where I almost got cooked because of it. So ignoring that, I think it's fine to play without Necroquip, but it makes your worst hands absolutely worse.
Gotcha.
And also Aerial Leader is just the best card in the deck. This thing actually tutors out whatever you want.
Card's broken.
Yeah, who'd have thought Foolish Burial was a good card? I heard one just got banned.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm also playing Desiree. Might be important. Mild trolling. Desiree's pretty good. A lot of times you'll just break boards, you can't kill them, you just set up a Desiree and they can't beat it. And this card single-handedly wins the Runic matchup, which I saw in round 1. So.
Ooh, hilarious.
Yeah. As for further stuff I'm playing a Wave King. I'm not counting this as Fiendsmith stuff because you can technically make it in other ways in your deck, like Aerial Leader and Shavara. But Wave King is really good, and I try to make it in matchups like Tempai specifically because it beats Kaiman and Chundra, and they usually if you check at least 2 cards in their hand, they probably can't beat you because they probably dropped 2 hand traps on you already. I really like Wave King, but I don't think I really summoned it too much yesterday. That being said, that doesn't mean I would cut it. Like, this card is just so amazing once you actually go into it. I'm playing McCracker. I think McCracker is really, really good. The combo I'm going for is I'm making a Soul of Rage, which, speaking of which, Yama and Soul of Rage. I'm making a Soul of Rage and linking it off into a McCracker, and then I'm Chamber bringing it back later on. That also gives me access to next turn McCracker bring back like a Spirit as my first action, and I can just dip right back into Yubel stuff, you know, giving me Phantoms again, giving me full combo all over again. As for the further Fiend stuff, I'm playing these two, and then to round off the extra, I'm playing these two. Griffin was crazy, but I'm not going to lie to you, it's very win more, and I probably would cut it for Necro Quip, as crazy as that sounds. But it's just like, if you establish a Griffin and they have no way to out it, you can win right then and there. But a lot of times, Griffin becomes Protect the Towers, and if they like Minecon, Droplet, Dark Ruler you, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, that was fun, I guess. I put all my resources in this one card. There's cool things you can do, like you can like, if something else dies, you can Yama bring this back. You can like Shavara pop this, same thing. Yama bring it back. You can also like, you can't draw a card, I guess. That does come up.
It's also, look at this,
A rare.
a fiend
Oh, that's important.
and a light.
That's also important. I'm not doing that. You can do that. If you can do that, sure, bro. That's on you. But
No, that's what happens when they mind con it. That's the dangerous part.
I'm glad that never happened. I'm really glad that never happened. Anguish is pretty good. If they nib you, this is technically generic as long as you have an Unchained monster. So you can form a Yama, use the nib token in this to make an Anguish, steal one of their guys, and still have interaction through Soul of Rage.
Nice. So
So it just gives you more things to pivot off of. And then this is actually the only back row removal in the entire deck, funny enough. So the only way to technically out Floodgates is these two guys, but this one is a lot more readily available. But it doesn't matter because most of the time you just clear them through their board anyways. As long as they leave anything above 2800 attack, 3 Yubels does it. And yeah, that's it for the extra.
very nice.
What's up?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, as for the side, I didn't have a whole lot of going first options, so I just did anti-spell. Yeah. As for going second, or I guess I did D-Berry too, but it's really only applicable in certain matchups, being Tempai, the hugest one, and it's really good at ritual based too. I'm glad I didn't see any ritual beats because I'm not reading all those cards, and I'm not playing Perulia, which again might be another option if you want to do for large scale events.
Gotcha.
As for back row removal, we're playing a suite of 7 cards, which are 3 Cyclone, 1 Harpies, and 3 Evenly. There was only one time all day I really sided in any of these, and it was in that Runic matchup, and I drew into Harpy's Feather Duster while he had a Clogged Up EMZ, so that was pretty good. But beyond that, I think it's really good to have for stun matchups, just because you will run into them, they will cook you, and it's nice to have some sort of contingency plan for, set 5 decks.
Very nice.
There's also an argument to side these in against a mirror match or a Snake Eye deck, but that one at that point is a little bit more personal interpretation. Now, the real card I side in to the mirror match and Snake Eye is the MVPs of the weekend.
Yes, sir.
I had a duel where I opened 2 Mind Control, a Talents, a Samsara, and an Imperm. It's game 2. I'm up with game 1, and my opponent did his entire Snake Eye Fire King end board. Kieran in hand, Amblo Whale, he has IP Engrave, Arvada on board, and Princess. So I go, Minecon target the Amblo Whale. He goes, Kieran, pop, summon back the IP. Okay, I'll talent steal a card. He said it resolves. I steal his IP. Then I go, Minecon target is Arvada. He goes, yeah, that's pretty good. And I steal it. He also has the Rabbit and the Azure Rune statue. So at that point, he's forced to flip it. Because if I do anything to check the activated Fire King Island, he gets a board wipe, which he can't really recover from. So I summon the SP. He's forced to check it. And at which point, I basically outed the entire board except for the Princess and Graveyard. So my top deck was Nightmare Throne. I go ahead and proceed to Nightmare Throne, pop a Spirit of Yubel, summon the Yubel, make a Phantom. I normal summon the Samsara Lotus in my hand, and he doesn't have it now. And I end up killing him with exact lethal that turn. So I think these cards are insane. all weekend, you know, I was stealing people's Yubels. I was stealing people's Arvadas, apparently. Like, it doesn't matter what they have. If you can just steal it and link it off or steal it and kill them with it, these cards are insane.
Very nice.
And that's it for my 40, 15, and 15 deck.
Nice. Anything you'd change to the side deck?
Side specifically, I don't think so. I played a Yubel player round 2, and we were talking about the possibility of a couple different things. And I think for the conclusion, for the most part, we reached very similar results. But he recommended playing Artifact Lancia for the Ritual Beast matchup. So if you have your locals, you have a lot more road running around. Lancia might be a genuine option. And I also think Perulia, same matchup, just to keep drawing cards.
Very good, very good. Well, congratulations, my boy.
Thank you.
Enjoy your first place.
I will.
Yeah. Any last words?
I want to talk quickly about siding patterns.
Yeah, of course.
And I wish more deck profiles would go over it.
Sure.
So most times, if I'm going first, I'm just setting in the anti-spell unless D-Barrier is applicable in other matchups, mostly Tempai, really. And usually, it depends on the matchup again, but I'll probably side out like a call by, or if I know I'm playing against like stun, I'll side out the 2 talents. If I'm playing against a mirror match, usually my go-tos are the chamber. Once I find it, it's usually like a chamber, a base Yubel, and a spirit, and then a dark beckoning beast. And at that point, you could side into 1 change of heart and 3 mind cons, and just steal your opponent's stuff. And that's usually the philosophy I follow for you know, most of my matchups. Like against Labyrinth, it's just side out like the Drolls, maybe the Imperms, but again, if you side out like maybe these 4 or keep this in and side out called by, you're usually pretty good. You can get there with that.
That's sick, yeah. I know a lot of people probably appreciate knowing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always something I love to see in deck profiles, and I wish more people would talk about it. So, you know, be the change you want to see, right?
Yeah, of course. That's super awesome. Any more you want to share about the theory or the list or
the deck is just a lot of fun. It's really, it feels very rewarding to pilot, and it feels like I can look at a board and go, okay, I can break this, or I can kill you to this board, and it's just very rewarding in that sense.
Nice.
So,
all right. Well, thank you so much, Xander. Congratulations again, and this is Marty with Team Beige, and I'll see y'all later.
See you guys.